Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Channel World. War II was the deadliest conflict in human history, lasting from 1939 to 1945 and involving most of the world's nations. It began when Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, prompting Britain and France to declare war. Germany's blitzkrieg tactics quickly overran much of Europe, including Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France by mid-1940. The Battle of Britain saw the German Luftwaffe attempt to gain air superiority over the UK, but the Royal Air Force successfully defended the island. Italy, under Benito Mussolini, joined Germany, expanding the war into North Africa and the Balkans. In June 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history, against the Soviet Union. Initially, German forces made rapid gains, reaching the outskirts of Moscow, but the harsh winter and Soviet resistance, particularly at Stalingrad, turned the tide. The Eastern Front became a brutal war of attrition, with millions of casualties. Meanwhile, Japan, seeking dominance in the Pacific, attacked the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. This brought the United States into the war, leading to battles across the Pacific, including Midway, Guadalcanal, and Iwo Jima. The war intensified with the Holocaust, where Nazi Germany systematically murdered 6 million Jews and millions of others, including Romani people, political prisoners, and civilians. In North Africa, the Allies, led by General Dwight D. Eisenhower and General Bernard Montgomery, defeated German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel in 1943. Italy was invaded, leading to Mussolini's downfall and eventual execution in 1945. On the Western Front, the Allies launched D-Day on June 6, 1944, landing in Normandy and pushing toward Germany. The Battle of the Bulge in December 1944 was Germany's last major offensive, but they were ultimately driven back. As Soviet forces advanced from the east and Western Allies pushed from the west, Germany surrendered on May 8, 1945, known as VE Day. In the Pacific, the United States engaged in island-hopping campaigns, culminating in the capture of Okinawa. To force Japan's surrender, the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6 and 9, 1945. Japan surrendered on September 2, 1945, marking the official end of the war. The conflict left over 70 million dead, reshaped global politics, and led to the Cold War between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. The United Nations was established in 1945 to prevent future conflicts, while Germany and Japan were occupied and rebuilt under Allied supervision. The war's impact is still felt today, influencing international relations, military strategies, and global power structures. World War II was the deadliest conflict in human history, lasting from 1939 to 1945 and involving most of the world's nations. It began when Nazi Germany, led by Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland on September 1, 1939, prompting Britain and France to declare war. Germany's blitzkrieg tactics quickly overwhelmed Poland, and by 1940, Germany had conquered Denmark, Norway, Belgium, the Netherlands, and France. The Battle of Britain in mid-1940 saw the German Luftwaffe attempt to gain air superiority, but the British Royal Air Force successfully defended the island. Italy, under Benito Mussolini, joined Germany, expanding the war into North Africa and the Balkans. In June 1941, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in history, against the Soviet Union. Initially, German forces made rapid gains, capturing vast territories, but Soviet resistance and the harsh winter halted their advance. The Battle of Stalingrad, 1942-1943, marked a turning point as Soviet forces encircled and destroyed the German Sixth Army. The Eastern Front became the deadliest theater of the war, with millions of casualties. Meanwhile, Japan, seeking dominance in the Pacific, attacked the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. This brought the United States into the war, leading to key battles such as Midway in 1942, where U.S. forces decisively defeated the Japanese Navy, shifting momentum in the Pacific. The Holocaust was a systematic genocide in which Nazi Germany and its collaborators murdered 6 million Jews and millions of others, including Romani people, Slavs, political prisoners, and civilians. Mass executions, forced labor camps, and extermination camps such as Auschwitz and Treblinka were used to carry out Hitler's final solution. The war also saw large-scale atrocities committed by Japan, including the Nanjing Massacre and the use of forced labor and human experimentation. In North Africa, the Allies, led by General Dwight D. Eisenhower and British General Bernard Montgomery, defeated German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel in 1943. Italy was invaded, leading to Mussolini's removal and eventual execution in 1945. The Western Allies launched the largest amphibious invasion in history on June 6, 1944, D-Day, landing in Normandy and pushing toward Germany. The Battle of the Bulge in December 1944 was Germany's final major offensive, but the Allies ultimately repelled the attack. By 1945, the Soviet Union had advanced into Eastern Europe, capturing Berlin in April. Hitler died by suicide on April 30, and Germany unconditionally surrendered on May 8, known as VE Day. In the Pacific, the U.S. conducted an island-hopping campaign, capturing key locations such as Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Facing fierce Japanese resistance, the United States dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on August 6 and 9, 1945, leading to Japan's surrender on September 2, 1945. The war resulted in over 70 million deaths and left much of Europe and Asia in ruins. The Allies established the United Nations in 1945 to promote global peace and cooperation. Germany and Japan were occupied and rebuilt, while the Soviet Union and the United States emerged as superpowers, beginning the Cold War. The division of Europe, the rise of decolonization movements, and the development of nuclear weapons shaped the post-war world order, influencing global politics for decades to come. The Roman Empire, one of history's greatest civilizations, emerged from the Roman Republic, which had expanded its influence across the Mediterranean through military, conquest, and political alliances. In 27 BCE, Octavian, later known as Augustus, became Rome's first emperor after defeating Mark Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium. Augustus established the Principate, maintaining the illusion of republican governance while holding absolute power. His reign marked the beginning of the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and stability lasting over 2 centuries. Rome expanded its borders to include much of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa, incorporating diverse cultures into its vast empire. It developed advanced infrastructure, including roads, aqueducts, and bridges, facilitating communication and trade. Roman law became the foundation of legal systems in the Western world, while innovations in engineering and architecture led to the construction of monumental structures such as the Colosseum, the Pantheon, and Hadrian's Wall. The empire saw a succession of emperors, some effective rulers, and others infamous for their excesses. Nero, who reigned from 54 to 68 CE, was known for persecution of Christians and the Great Fire of Rome. The 5 good emperors, including Trajan and Hadrian, expanded and stabilized the empire. In the 3rd century, Rome faced economic crises, military defeats, and internal strife, leading to the crisis of the 3rd century, during which the empire nearly collapsed due to constant civil wars, foreign invasions, and economic instability. In 285 CE, Emperor Diocletian divided the empire into the Western and Eastern Roman empires to improve administration. Constantine the Great emerged as a key figure, reuniting the empire temporarily and legalizing Christianity with the Edict of Milan in 313 CE. He established Constantinople as the new capital in 330 CE, shifting power to the eastern half. The Western Roman Empire struggled with declining economy, corruption, and waves of barbarian invasions, including those by the Visigoths, who sacked Rome in 410 CE, and the Vandals, who did so in 455 CE. The last Western emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed in 476 CE by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer, marking the official fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive, preserving Roman traditions and Greek culture. Under Emperor Justinian, 527 to 565 CE, the Byzantines reconquered parts of the lost Western territories and codified Roman law in the Corpus Juris Civilis. The empire faced waves of external threats, including Persians, Arabs, and later the Crusaders. Despite its resilience, Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Turks in 1453, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire and the last vestige of Rome's legacy. Rome's influence shaped medieval and modern history, contributing to language, law, architecture, and governance. Its legacy remains evident in modern governments, legal codes, and cultural traditions throughout Europe and beyond. Thank you for watching this video.